Hey guys, got an email today. I went to the grocery store real quick for some stuff that we needed for dinner tonight, and I checked my emails like I always do, and I came across an email, and I figured I would answer it video because I've seen a lot of these questions being answered, and I've seen a lot of other DMs get really defensive about this. Yeah, let me start it off. I'm a straight white guy. I've been married to the same woman for 11 years. I have two beautiful daughters. I love them very much. I will not change my life or change who I am for anybody else, period. Having said that, I have many friends, families, colleagues in the podcasting industry that I really 100% respect who are what people call alternate lifestyle, different whatever, LGBT, whatever you want to call it. Because I'm not going to tell you how to call something. I think that if you need to put a label on it, you've already lost your argument about how it's not different. And it's not. That's my argument here. So the question is, why don't we have more LGBT, or at all, is actually what this person said, LGBT or characters or NPCs in my world? The answer might surprise some of you. The answer is probably not what you're going to think it is, which is, well, we do. We have, they're in there. But, Doc, I didn't see it. It didn't come out. It wasn't said. It wasn't, well, yeah, they're normal people. What are you thinking? Some of you are on such a propaganda high horse, and you're going around asking all these DMs on and hosts on all these different podcasts about this, and you got them on the defensive, and it's because, you know, the ones that you are asking are the ones that are straight white males. They're in there. I have them in there. I've had quite a few. I have more than the representation of the percentage to society in there. They're there. Rogue's a rogue. A transgender rogue or a gay rogue will not be different than a straight rogue, period. And it doesn't matter if they're female or male, all of them are equal and on equal grounds. If you don't believe me, make a character in D&D. It doesn't say if you're female, roll this, if you're male, you roll this. And there are some weight charts in there that you could argue that on, but I'm talking about the stuff that actually makes sense. Your strength, your dexterity. You know, it's not like they're sitting down and going, well, you know, technically women are more dexterous, so why don't we, you know, give a bonus if it's a female character to dexterity and take away from strength? and I think that they were smart about that, and they've done that all these years because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the character is male, female, trans, whatever, however you identify. Now, you want to attack me for being a straight white male because that's what this is. Because my characters are normal characters. Just because they have a different lifestyle or they have a different opinion of who would be a perfect mate for them than you or I or anybody else does not mean that they should be identified differently within the confines of my game, my world, or what we're doing. You are ridiculous. I have plenty of NPCs. There has been more than a few characters that have preferred same-sex or were transgender or were definitely one thing and identified as another. It doesn't. I'm furious. I'm furious. As a straight white guy, I am so mad at this question. If you have them in your game and it's not out there, unless they're sitting down with their significant other, you don't know their choice. Unless you're in a shower or a changing room or they have their armor off, you don't have a choice. I don't allow the stereotypical female armor with the protruding breasts in my games. I played a female cleric who was straight, but her armor was the same armor that somebody in the same position that was a male would have. I am appalled, sickened almost, that this question is even a valid question that's being asked out there, and that a lot of these DMs feel that they have to answer. You don't have to, DMs. You don't have to. In fact, let me put it this way. Unless your podcast is going out of its way saying, no, everybody, it's man, woman, and that's it, and blah, 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 blah in my world, you're probably doing it right. Because so many people in my life fall under the LGBT label, and I'm not trying to take away from the longer acronym that they're using nowadays. I honestly don't know the longer acronym, so I refuse to try to say it. I think it's LGBTQ, and there might be some other ones, but I don't know. I'm not saying it to be mean. I am not saying it because I don't want to insult what it stands for, what it is. I don't want to be ignorant to the plight and what they're trying to do. Those of you that are out there trying to call DMs out on this, on games, you're dumb. You're super dumb. You don't even understand how much ignorance you're putting into simply asking the question. And again, it would be different if I was in an interview somewhere and somebody asked and I was like, no, the entire world is male, female. There's nobody who's lesbian or gay or transgender or whatever. And then you called me out on that. Then you're calling out, you're calling out somebody, but you're calling out somebody on a world that they've created. And whether you think it's right or wrong, and it's a podcast, don't listen. It's that simple. But agree or disagree, you're telling somebody else you're not thinking like I think, so your thinking is wrong. Whatever. Maybe that's something you have to fight against. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. I am in no position to argue that. But in Bros and Dragons podcast, in Bros and Dragons Incorporated family and business measure, we don't care. We don't care if you're transgender. We don't care if you're gay or lesbian. We don't care if you identify on one of the other genders. We don't care if you're Muslim and straight and not white, or white and Christian and straight. We don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to put together a Twitch team and Beam team. I want my Twitch and Beam team to be the strongest Twitch and Beam people that are out there. I want them to know how the programs work, how to influence, how to do the layouts. I am not looking for somebody because of their sexual orientation to bring them on. And they will be as accepted as everybody else, and they will be held to the same standards as everybody else. I am not going to allow somebody to make fun of or call out somebody who is LGBT, and I will not allow somebody to call out somebody else because they're a straight white male. We are trying to accomplish a goal, a comprehension in Bros and Dragons. And that goal is simple. Creative ventures belong to the people that create them. There's nothing else to that. That is exactly what it is. It doesn't matter who they are. We want to have the best people on our team working with us as we go forward. Why? Because we want to be the best that's out there. We don't want to be some political scheme. We don't want to be some propaganda tag. We want to be the best in helping people be creative and maintaining their own properties in their creative ventures as we possibly can. When it comes to the Bros and Dragons podcast, there are LGBT characters and NPCs there. I'm actually kind of proud that you didn't realize it, but I'm insulted that you asked the question. I'm proud because I think I'm representing them as best that I possibly can, and I don't know. So if you don't think I am, and you're transgender, or you're gay, or you fall under the LGBT, or you don't, and it's something else we haven't even thought of yet, I'm not going to threaten or punish you. I want to know. Tell me I'm doing it right or wrong. Because I see all these people as normal people that you interact with. And unless they start hitting on you, or you see them out in public with their significant others, you're not going to know. Because these people are normal. Stop abnormalizing these people. Stop. And anything that you do every day, just knock it off. Stop what you're doing because it's insulting. It's not just insulting to me. I feel that you are insulting these people by trying to put something that's more of a label on things and telling people that they're not doing it when they are. Because I thought long and hard about how I would represent these people in my podcast, and those people being represented in my podcast are who they are, and they're normal, and they're fighters, and they're rogues, and they're rangers, and they're artificers, and they're mystics, and they're heroes, and they're above average of the common people, or they're common people. We had an arc not too long ago, which was a call out to a friend of mine who is gay, and I try to do a lot of stuff that represents my life in the podcast because it's easier for me to roll with the punches when I do that. And he didn't accept, or he didn't know for a long time, and I haven't even asked him that question because it really doesn't matter. It doesn't change who he is as my friend, but he got married and had a kid and then realized later that he was gay. And so I had 2 boys in our time arc in Rangio. I don't remember what episode it was. And that the one kid was kind of setting him up because he didn't know how to ask. And I thought that was a good representation of the real struggle today, which is that stigma that comes on somebody, and not so much today that has it been in the past, but it's still there, of because they have an alternate lifestyle, and I don't even want to call it alternate because that's been a bad word. And when I say that, I'm not trying to be mean. What I mean is a different lifestyle than what everybody perceives as norm, because they're normal. And I need to stop saying alternate. Now that I think about it, I need to stop. Because they have a different lifestyle, one that doesn't go to what the person themselves is thinking or whatever, they have a stigma and they get made fun of. And they are scared of that, legitimately. Whether it's a real fear or a fear that they have within themselves because of what they've heard or because of the past, it's legitimate. And so I had him set up the guy was going to kiss a girl because he liked him, but he assumed that the other guy liked him. There's this whole backstory in my head that never came out in the podcast. And they found out that they did like each other, and they didn't know how to say it. And I even hit that later on in the podcast. And I did the best that I could with what I had. And I may have been wrong with that. Again, please tell me. Send me a message on whatever platform you're listening to this to, or send me an email at brosanddragons@gmail.com and tell me right or wrong on that. Again, I'm trying to do my best, and I see everybody as normal. That because they have something that's different, that doesn't mean they deserve a label, number one. But 2, it doesn't mean that they deserve to be treated differently or that they're going to act differently. Tell me if I'm right or wrong below. Again, I hope this whole trend of trying to call people out on this stuff will end. And I hope, I'm not going to mention who it was, but I hope the person that sent that email watches my video and feels absolutely terrible for having that kind of self-righteous attitude when they wrote me an email that they knew nothing about. Again, I'm DM Doc. Keep it nerdy. Live your dreams.